You can tell a lot about a woman by her pulse. My ex, for instance, you can tell by her pulse that A, she's dehydrated, B, she's sick and twisted, and C, she doesn't want to be tied down. And I'm like, no problem, neither do I. And so I buy her a watch, gold-plated, and I get it engraved, genuine leather. And she's like, is it waterproof? And I'm like, it's engraved. And she's like, is it waterproof? And I'm like, it's engraved. And she's like, is it waterproof? And I'm like, it's engraved. And she's like, a figure eight. And I'm like, an infinity sign. And she's like, a figure eight. And I'm like, an infinity sign. And she's like, a figure eight. And I'm like, an infinity sign. And she's like, because time is infinite. And I'm like, because love is infinite. And she's like, I told you from the start. And I'm like, who's that in the background? And she's like, Francine. And I'm like, my cousin? And she's like, she's hot. And I'm like, I need you in my life. And she's like, you want to have a three-way? And I'm like, isn't that incest? And she's like, forget it. And so I go over, and I ring the bell. And I know that they're in there. And I'm like, Francine, how could you do this to me, Francine? And she's like, Francine can't help it if she's hot, can you, Francine? And she's like, no, not really, no. And I'm like, haven't you ever heard of loyalty? And they're like, haven't you ever heard of free love?